Well, how do there, chums? As I, Captain Steve, and I have a channel news video for you, but it's also news on PS5 type shizzle and things that might be coming to No Man's Sky, and a little bit of speculation. So I want to say a massive, great big thank you. I've hit my 15,000 subscribers, and I'm hoping to reach 20k by December. So please help that happen by smashing that subscriber button. Heck yes, that'd be freaking ace of you guys in the viewerverse. Righto, so now let's move on to the next stage of the news. There is a Vector meetup happening on June the 5th, and that's at 8 PM GMT. So if you have a Vector ship, be that an Alpha Vector with the Alpha nose or the Vector wings, that's perfectly fine. Rock on over to the Vector meetup. Heck yes. We also have a Bank Holiday Monday, 8 PM GMT at Nexus Lounge over on PT's channel. I should be there as a co-host talking about speculation for the new Expedition update, which is hopefully going to drop during next week, chums. So yeah, please join us over on the Nexus Lounge. That should be fine. Diddly dandy. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner to PT's channel. Hit a subscribe and hit the bell for when the lounge goes live, so you don't want to miss that, chums. You can also call in. Usually we have call-in sessions via Discord. Full details will be found on the Nexus Lounge episode once it goes live. So we've got that to look forward to. Heck yes. Well, now for my own speculation, we got given a Mass Effect frigate, the Normandy, and I've been sending that frigate out on missions as well as some of my other frigates and leveling them up, even though they're S-class, because they can go up a fair few ranks. And I've been reading the actual logs when they return and getting a few ideas of what might come into the iteration. I mean, after all, Hello Games writes this frickin' text, don't they? So there we go. You can see there, infiltrated hostile planetary facility, siege weapon disabled, base neutralized. So that actually mentions base side sort of facilities, doesn't it? It really does. So wouldn't it be cool if, just like we've got like with, you know, the abandoned sort of derelict freighters and their sort of procedural dungeons, to have those planet size, but make them sort of for pirates or even sentinel facilities. Now there is a lot of text inside of these logs that also mention things like mining and actually finding caves that have got sort of silver ores or gold ores within inside of the caves. There's also mining vessels, mining sort of the asteroids out in space, putting detonation cores on them and blowing them to smithereens to find some really super rare sort of items. There's even mentions of arc beams cutting through sort of meteorites that I've seen as well. So I'm hoping we see a lot more space mining and mining vessels in space. And I'm also hoping to see a little bit more added into caves when it comes to what you can find resource-wise in caves, but hopefully better and more complex cave systems. There are sort of mentions in some of this text that you may see on the screen about routes and things going down into cave systems, which I thought was quite cool. There's another mention there of Herc manifests and null sort of relics being found and being offloaded for a shed load of units. I really like that idea. I would like to see the trade in that sort of way upped a little. So if you do up your rank with the different factions, or also the guilds like the mercenary merchants guild, so if you up your merchants guild and your mercenary guild, maybe you might be able to do things like that and barter and trade a little bit better with some of the NPCs. Now a little bit later in this news video, chums, I'm going to show you that Sony have just patented a new sort of AI sort of patent to go with their gaming. So it's their Sony AI branch and Sony Studios, which makes the games, and they're actually crossing over to sort of like come together to make games better. So I'd come to that in a bit, because I'm thinking a lot of this stuff would require better NPC AI, and that could come to pass in future iteration. Well, at least it could for maybe the PlayStation. I guess it could be emulated across different platforms with tweaks to code. I don't know, but there we go. So reading this, there's a heck of a lot that goes into these logs, and what I would suggest to you people is to read these sort of logs if you're sending your frigates out on missions, because this text has been written, as I say, by Hello Games. Now, if anything is to come into the actual game through future iterations, I'm hoping it's going to be some of the stuff here. I mean, look, it even mentions there, spiders got loose on an actual ship. And they're mineral-eating spiders at that. And they completely sabotage my ship. I've got to go and repair that ship. Bulkhead-eating spiders. Sam Randall, cover your ears, because I know you have arachnophobia. But yeah, there's a heck of a lot of stuff inside of these logs that when you read it, you're like, oh, Oh really? If that came into the game, that'd be freaking ace. Heck yes it would. So here it mentions about poachers, and again, there's a lot of mentions about different sorts of pirates and contraband and all sorts of other stuff going on. You know, undergroundy, shady shenanigans. And I would like to see some of that shady underground shenanigans being implemented into high conflict zones. At the moment, we install the conflict scanner. We can see that it's a tier 3 system. You jump there and it's just like any other system. So it does make you feel, well, hold on, if we're getting this conflict scanner, maybe we could use the conflict scanner a little bit more. I mean, we use the economy scanner a fair bit to find trading posts. So why not use the conflict scanner in space? So here we go, at the galactic map. You can see here I've got my conflict scanner installed. And I have actually set it on the filter to conflict. So all the red zones are all the high conflict zones or ones that are unavailable. So there we go, you can see there, that one's a level 3 system and Viking. There's a GEC one with a 2-star engineering as well as being aggressive. So, you know, perhaps if you went to these zones and you did find a pirate sort of area, so that one's a free system. So it's high on conflict, high on economy as well, and it was metal trading. So perhaps when you jump to a metal trading system and you raid that pirate system or that pirate sort of base on there, you know, maybe you get some awesome sort of drops. Anyhow, so here we go. Pretend that's the conflict scanner I just fired up, and it pulls in this big freighter battle that's going on over yonder, and I can fly on over it and I can assist whichever faction I wish. So this is a GEC zone, but they might be fighting against a Viking here. So I could pick a side and I could engage in a skirmish. Heck yes, that'd be pretty awesome. And if there is NPC sort of AI added, just like you saw there with them flying in formation, perhaps you could get a couple of NPC wingmen as a squadron. And once you've actually defeated the pirates, perhaps you get given a location to their actual base quarters on a planet. So I've just made this in creative mode. I just sort of stuck this together, and it actually goes into the mountainside. So maybe I would have been given some sort of key or some sort of key code or some sort of coordinates with a lock combination, and I go over and I interact with the lock combination. Maybe I have to put in a couple of, I don't know, glyphs or something in sequence, 3 glyphs like Diplo, Sunset and Beetle, and then I can open the door, kaboom, and I'm in. And then once you're in, I'm thinking this could be more procedural, a little bit like the derelict freighters. So here we go, I'm opening up a derelict freighter door here. Pretend there's a door at the end of the corridor in my creative mode. Here we go. Just ignore anything that might be floating and anti-gravity. Heck yes. But look, you've got all the sort of turrets there in the ceilings that could bring down the rail guns and shoot at you and all that sort of shenanigans. Maybe make it a bit brighter in here. And again, you don't need to have all the atmospherics of being super cold because it's not in dead of space. But when you pop these, perhaps you could get a load of treasure in one sort of go. So you get all the sort of rare metals because this is a rare metal sort of planet in a way. Or tech or whatever. So make it sort of marry up to what you see on the outer screen. So if it was high technology, I get a load of S-class modules, and maybe there'd be aggressive ones since it's a conflict zone. So I get a load of upgrades from my multi-tool, because that makes frickin' sense, doesn't it? And there could be NPCs here that could be armed, and you may have to disarm them, being that it's a pirate facility. They could be working on sentinels and trying to work out how to upgrade stuff. They may have ships here and little ship hangars, or even exocraft bays and all sorts of other stuff going on. So yeah, it would be nice if these ground pirates actually rode around in exocrafts. Maybe if you land on a planet you could follow an exocraft to this base. That'd be frickin' sweet. Heck yes. Oh, sorry, I've got my director with me at the moment. He's just saying I should ask what Gemini and Hesperus think of this idea. Okay there, lads, what do you think of this idea? Okay, well, Gemini says, well, you have got these trendy new frigates, and Hesperus is pointing out that we've got loads of ship modules, and they're completely OP, and it would be nice to get more of a challenge. And Gemini is pointing back at the frigates and saying, yes, all the frigate missions and all the logs from the actual frigates do detail so much going on, yet you go to a planet's surface, and can you see that on foot yourself? Heck no, you can't. Yes, Hesperus is a little bit miffed as well. But there we go. They're both in agreement that it would be nice to see more going on planet's surface. So chums, if you want to follow me over on the Twitterverse and hit me up with a DM and all that sort of shenanigans, come and follow me. Yes, at @NCaptainSteve. The N stands for NMSA. But yeah, it just put that there via Twitter. I don't know how to change it. But there we go. Awesome. You can follow me over on the Twitterverse. Thanking you, people. Thanking you. Well, chums, while I've been playing Biomutant and been distracted, I've heard that there is a rumour going around that the ARG is back for No Man's Sky. Yes, I've heard this, and I have seen this. I've seen a video over on Mac for a Day's channel. Now, I will be putting a link to Mac for a Day in the top right hand corner. I put a link to his actual video that actually suggests that this could be a No Man's Sky ARG. Now, Mac for a Day is a fantastic content creator, so go check him out. I'm sure he'd have more news on this coming soon. But to be fair, I don't think this is a No Man's Sky ARG. And there's reasons being. I have done a little bit of research. I've jumped over to Reddit. Reddit actually suggests it could be to do with Coldplay. And yeah, because they done an album a little while ago, Postcodes from Another World or something like that, or something similar. I'm not a massive Coldplay fan, to be fair, but that did have some merit to it. But I think the one that has the most merit is that this ARG is actually for Fortnite Season 7, because inside of the actual Fortnite game, the same posters that are appearing in London and about the place are actually appearing inside of the Fortnite game. Plus also, some of the streamers for Fortnite have been sent DVDs from the actual devs at Fortnite for them to play. That actually goes into detail and shows drone footage of crop circles featuring the same symbols that are actually on those cards, on those postcards and posters. So yeah, I honestly think this is to do with Fortnite and not No Man's Sky, but I could be wrong. So like I say, hit up good old Mac for a Day, who's putting out evidence to show that it could be for No Man's Sky. And I say that loosely, because I honestly don't think it is. But there we go, difference of opinions, and I like to help share other people's opinions. But here's my evidence that it could be to do with Fortnite. So if you do jump on YouTube and type in "They're Coming," and then type in Fortnite, you get a shed load of Fortnite streamers that have been sent these DVDs, and they're showing their evidence to show that it is actually a Fortnite ARG. And yeah, some of the actual symbols that appear in these actual videos are now appearing inside of the game verse, and in Season 6 they did get a sneak preview of UFOs, so it looks like aliens and maybe Area 51 type shenanigans are going to be coming into Season 7 of Fortnite. Yeah, a bit of a shame that, if that is true, because, you know, those symbols did look very sort of No Man's Sky-esque. Heck yes they did. So next up, Sony AI combines with Sony Studio. Now if you go and Google this and just read a couple of the news articles, you'll see where I'm coming from, and it's quite tantalizing. It means smarter NPCs in Sony games, and it could just be the ones limited to Sony Studio. So I don't know whether this tech could come to No Man's Sky, but you know, No Man's Sky did start off as a PlayStation sort of only game at one stage, so who knows, we could see better and No Man's Sky NPCs in future iterations, because it's not just enemy NPCs, it could also be teammates, or you know, co-op play. You could play with AI. So yeah, I have a little bit of footage I can share with you in a moment, guys, around that mind-blowing development. Heck yeah, so stay tuned for that. I'll show you the actual patent in a bit, but anyhow, there is also some new lighting tech for PCs coming soon. Some sort of DLSS driver for something. To be fair, I'm not too clued up with PC stuff, but I have seen PS5 and Xbox One could replicate this through Lumen tech. But yeah, that's part of the Unreal. The new Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine 5. But I've got some footage for that too. So firstly, here is the actual patent around the artificial AI intelligence control mode for playing specific tasks during gaming applications. Now if I can find the link to this actual patent, I'll put it in the video description, but there's a heck of a lot of weird guff there, chums. But basically it just means that the AI could actually enhance itself as you're playing the game, and yes, it could be that we may get NPCs that might be able to level up and matches in playstyle and make more of a challenge. Okay, now this is the actual tech demo for the DLSS 4K sort of settings that should be coming to PC. However, I do think that we might get some graphical enhancements to next gen like PS5 and also the Xbox One, and I'll give you reason in a bit. But now I'm seeing a lot of visual improvements here, and I'm also seeing a lot more sort of, I don't know, clarity in the graphics and sharpness. It just looks so more on point. But look at the frame rates at the top, chums. That's freaking phenomenal. Now, when he actually takes off in the ship, you watch all the other ships around him and how they respond. They were already in the air, so they already took off. So it's like they knew that they was about to take off, but they actually match in speed and formation. And that makes me think, well, is there something already there when it comes to NPC AI? I don't think they're actual other players. I think they're responding to the player as sort of like bots, AI-controlled bots that are following the actual player ship, because they match him in speed and height and everything. But anyhow, this is Epic Games showing off the Unreal Editor version 5. So this is Unreal Engine 5, I should say. But that was captured on Xbox Series X, and there's also some captured footage for the PlayStation 5. Now, both of these are using Lumen technology. So although that we might not get the DLSS sort of shizzle going on to increase our frame rate, I'm fairly sure that the hardware inside of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 5 could match it like for like. I hope you guys feel the same way. I mean, that'd be freaking sweet, wouldn't it? But you know, that's pretty much everything I've got for all you guys out there in the verse, but that's quite a lot to keep your little peepers busy, isn't it? That's a feast for the frickin' eyes, and hopefully we're going to see that on the nearby horizon soon. I'd like to hope this year is going to be full of lovely little graphical treats like that. Heck yes, with next gen and all that. What are your thoughts? Put them in the comments. That'd be frickin' sweet. And until next time, goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again. I want to say a massive great big thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you to my backers over on Patreon and on YouTube membership. If you do want to support this channel, you could just not skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. Heck yes, and there's also merch on this screen now. Awesome!